Okay, thank you very much. Let's get this started again. Hello, Miami. Again, I'm Roderick Ramirez, and I have the pleasure of speaking to
Ishan Sanghvi.
Ishan Sanghvi. Thank you
Yes.
so much. He's one of the designers here at Florida Men's Fashion Week, and I would like to know a little bit more about your brand, how it started, and how it came to be.
Oh man, that's a great question. And honestly, a lot of people ask me that question because I'm usually known as a guy from finance background, crunching numbers, sitting in cubicle, behind spreadsheets, and everyone wonders like how, like what is the correlation between finance and fashion, right? There really isn't. It's just the passion that I've had since I was in high school, and I would really notice my dad dressing up so particularly and the best in the room, and I loved how he spent time in his wardrobe. And I think that's exactly where I get it from, is to just pay attention to detail, make sure the colors are coordinated, and my motto is literally look good, feel good.
Look good, feel good. Okay.
That's how the brand was born. I wanted to have men's fashion step forward. There are a lot of guys out there who can look better and have their confidence boosted only if they dressed properly. And I saw a gap, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can experiment and tap into fashion and create looks that brings out the real personality of a person and boost confidence.
So I know you said that you were kind of always intrigued by the idea of fashion and by, dressing up and feeling good and getting confidence from the way you appear. Now, was there a moment where like it all just kind of snapped and you said, I gotta start a fashion brand?
Yes. This is when I was working corporate, and I was actually on the other side of the interview panel where I was interviewing students from college, and I noticed that what people really spend time is in just memorizing interview questions and preparing for the resume, or just talking about like work and etc. But I noticed that not many people spend time in their attire, because first impression is really your last impression. And that's first thing that I look at a person, that, hey, did you spend time in putting yourself together, right? Because I want someone that is dressed properly, has, that they have the best confidence when they're sitting in front of anyone. And that was the moment when I realized that, hey, maybe there is a gap where I need to figure out that how do I help, or how do I style a lot of the gentlemen who can, appear looking better, smarter, and more confident in not just interview, but any occasion or any place that they're going. Is, I wanted them to look proper, like 100%, not 99, 100. So that's where the idea generated that, hey, why don't I help people? Why don't I style people? Which eventually, snowballed into people asking me, hey, why don't you just make something for me? And boom, that was the first.
What year did
spark.
that happen?
2016.
2016.
2016 is when someone asked me to make an outfit for their engagement, and they were like, "Hey, Ishan, I've always seen you dress up well. Your clothes fits you proper. It's very well fitted. Your color coordination, it's everything that I would want." So I was like, "Okay, I appreciate that. How can I help?" He's like, "Why don't you just make something for me for my engagement?" And I was like, you know what? Instead of styling and sourcing stuff, I can just make my own things. I can make my own designs. I can, figure out my own cloth. I can figure out what's gonna look good, on this person versus this person. And I quit my corporate, and I flew out to India. I was born in India, raised in Philly. Now we have a showroom in New Jersey, but I still have those fabric, the embroidery, the colors, it's in my veins, right? Like, so if you ever study Indian fashion or Indian occasions or weddings, it's very loud, right? And it's very flamboyant, it's very colorful. There's a lot of details that go into each piece. So I was like, the best place that I'm gonna learn, because I didn't study fashion really, I flew out to India. I spent 12 months there. I booked a one-way ticket, never came back.
That's so funny that you are answering the question that I was going to ask, but I didn't.
Sorry
have
if
to.
I'm going too
no,
fast.
No, you
Stop me, 'cause I want you
you're
to ask me
doing
a
you're
question.
doing beautifully. I was
Okay.
gonna ask where you got the inspiration for some of your aesthetics, right? So
Yeah.
some of like the designs and everything, like where does it all come from? And you're saying from your home.
So home. Also, I'm a big fan of just watching and looking at people in the not even 70s. I would go like the 30s or the 20s, or even like the days when like the Maharajas, which are known as the kings of the royal kings of India. If you ever see how they dress, you can tell in a crowd of a million people that this guy is a king, because his silhouette, the jewelry, the embroidery that he has on his outfits, the fabric selection, the whole look, you can just tell this person is the king right here. So my whole idea is that I'm taking vintage looks, but I'm adding a modern touch to it to make it more modern for our generation, right? So my tagline is modernizing vintage clothing. I'm bringing back the roots, I'm bringing back the silhouettes, I'm bringing back the, like the looks that, the kings wore back in the day. But at the same time, I gotta make it modern, because if a 30-year-old person is getting married, I want them to look sharp, and I want them to look like a king on their wedding day. So that's the whole story.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How about in your career, right? What have been the one or two biggest challenges that you see that maybe not only you, but a lot of people can expect if they want to go into a career such as yours?
So the biggest challenge that I face right now is, one is the time difference, that I have to adjust my entire life around working with my team, which is in India. So it's a 10.5 hour time difference between US Eastern Time and the Indian
basically
time
flops.
zone. It's basically, exactly. Now, how do I make myself available to their timing? How do I make myself available to all the questions that they have? So that is one of the biggest challenges. And yes, we are progressing a lot. We have made the process much better, much simpler, modifications. Now everything is getting more like, via email, use of technology. However, not a single piece leaves my factory in India until I have laid my eyes on it and checked it personally via phone or through any other source. So I have to make sure that I'm available, even if it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the AM. I'm on FaceTime. I'm looking at every single piece that's getting crafted, tailored, measurements, stitching, quality. There's not a single error that's going on in the factory. So I would say that is one of the challenges in terms of just like adjusting timings. But when you love something and when you have so much passion for it, call me at 3 o'clock. I'll do business with you. That's a drive.
Okay.
That is a drive, yes.
So you would say, if you don't absolutely love fashion, don't even think about trying it, essentially.
No, that's not true.
Well, it seemed to me like you're saying like you really have to love what you're doing in order to really not get disengaged from some of the challenges that are going to arise.
Yes, but I would say there's different verticals in fashion.
Okay, let's go into that.
Like my vertical is designing and creating a look for the end user. But there are a lot of other people that I've met in the industry who only want to learn about the fabrics. They only want to learn about the pattern cuttings, right? They only want to learn about the embroidery. So I wouldn't discourage anyone that, hey, if you're not into fashion, don't go into it. Figure out your vertical in fashion and then pursue that. But I think it goes for any business that you're going to do in life. You got to love it, because that's one thing that's, even if you get knocked down, you're going to get up, and, because your passion is not going to die. That's something that you got to have the drive, the motivation, and yes, like the love. But yes, so I would say like, if you're studying fashion, there's so many different verticals now. The marketing aspect is, it's a big driver for fashion. Instagram is the biggest driver for, fashion or anything, right?
More in TikTok?
No, TikTok and Instagram, I would say both. Yes, you're right. TikTok is also a big driver. But I meant like just social media, right? So I just met some people downstairs. They're actually studying fashion marketing or market research. They're figuring out like what are going to be the next trends, which you know what, like that's a very, very interesting topic because right now I'm thinking about spring 2026 and fall 2026. They're thinking about 27, 28, like what's really gonna like change the industry. So there's so many different fields just within, you know, fashion that I think, you know, if you have the love for it, I think definitely pursue it.
One more question. What is your ultimate goal? What is your dream for your brand?
Oh man, I have so many, but to pick one, I would say I want to dress every groom and I want them to wear Rivesse. I want every groom to have Rivesse in their wardrobe at one point in my life. And I want it to be like, I need to get Rivesse. I need to have this in my closet. Until the vibe or until the culture, like, you know, starts saying that. There are some brands which, for me, it's like I need to have it in my closet. So I want my brand Rivesse to get to that point where it's like I want this, I want to wear this, and when I'm getting married, I want to wear Rivesse. That's the passion that I have. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
I know you're inspiring people right now. So thank you for being here. Thank you
Yes,
for what you do.
I am always up for inspiring people, helping people, mentoring people, because in my life, there are a lot of people who helped me with every single stage, right? Because when you're starting a business, you're kind of clueless, but just, you know, having others help you and, you know, just give you that one shoulder, it helps ton. So it's only right if I do the same for someone else and help them as well. You know, I'll never see them as a competitor or, you know, a threat. In fact, I would love to, like, you know, just help someone understand or, you know, motivate or be a mentor. Because in this world, I feel we need to give flowers to each other.
Your friends are very lucky. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.